Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. Shit.
It's very much in the clap mode.
2020 podcast things. 2020 podcast things.
That's okay. It is what it is. Oh, that was it. That was the intro.
No, we're doing another one. That was not the intro. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 3 of the Insenan podcast.
The Insenan podcast.
I'm Nikhil.
I'm Nirad.
We're brothers. And so are you. You watching this.
You are brothers.
You are brothers. And we'll jump right into the show today.
Oh, yeah.
Well, before we do, actually, the segments for this show, the Purge, You Talkin About, halftime show, Footbollocks, and comment time will all be underneath here.
Just
so if you
scroll
want
down.
to jump ahead,
Yeah.
go and jump to one of those. But we'll kick things off now with the Purge.
Why don't you start this week?
I'll start this week. All
What
right.
is your purge?
Now, I don't know if you guys have seen the first 2 episodes. I hope you have, and if you haven't, go check them out.
Pause this video. Unsubscribe.
Just delete YouTube.
So-
Delete YouTube.
Cancel YouTube.
YouTube, search for YouTube, and
Search for
it's done, right?
Done.
And I'm purging out the YouTube. No. But this week,
Yes.
in case you don't know what the Purge is, it's that, segment where we take one thing that we want to remove off the face of the earth, or from life. And the thing that I want to purge this week
Yeah.
is self-limitation.
Self-limitation. No one limits the Asians,
Yes.
but the self.
I think that the most important thing when it comes to, achieving what you want to achieve in life, it comes down to what you believe you're capable of. You can't achieve anything that you don't really believe you're capable of achieving. And if you do achieve something that you don't believe you were ever capable of achieving, you just put it down to luck. So you don't even feel, really proud of it, or you don't have that sense of fulfillment that you get from the achievements that mean something to you. And what I've realized is that the more I try to approach life as being a matter of shifting goalposts, right? Where I'll get this, and then I'll achieve this, and I'll achieve the next thing, and then now I'll set my sights on the next thing, this, and that. I can do that within projects, but when I do that with my entire life, then I feel like I'm never really experiencing any sense of fulfillment, because I'm choosing to believe that I am limited by what I believe myself to be capable of.
Yeah.
Whereas in fact, that's not how life works at all. Really, what you believe yourself to be is a hugely creative force. If you believe yourself to be, for example, a kind person, and you'll see more opportunities for kindness around you. I'm not a scientist. I can't explain how this works or whether this works for anybody else. But I will speak from experience that choosing who you wish to be.
You draw your own boundaries in life, right? If you don't believe that you are,
And you erase them too.
You
Draw and erase your own boundaries as well. If you don't believe that you should be bound by a particular idea of yourself, change that idea of yourself. See whether you're now capable of more, and then whether that feels more like the life you wish to lead. So yeah, that's what I'm purging this week, guys. What about you?
That's
man?
a cool one. That's a cool one.
Thank you.
Okay. I don't need my notes. I don't need notes for this one. What I'm purging is plastic utensils. Now, don't get me wrong.
Yale NUS just had to change their shorts, man.
No.
Go ahead.
This is not an environmentalist issue. Let's be clear. Now, yes, it will do good to get rid of these things for the
Right.
environment, but that's not my point.
Okay.
Plastic utensils, plastic forks in particular, I can just fuck right off.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I'm done with them. They're weak as shit, right?
Yeah.
And they break easily, and it's just...
It's very primary school class outing, somebody's birthday cake vibe.
It always
PCP.
ruins the experience of whatever you're doing. The fork, the little prongs are never strong enough to actually poke through anything fried.
No, that's
per
true.
se. So you end up if you got a meatball, you end up your prongs going like this,
It's
like you're throwing up gang signs. You know,
It's like you're holding 4 chopsticks with one hand.
one hand. And it's just you're just okay, all right, no, yeah, okay, you know. And on top of that, they're the biggest eating blue balls, right? Because you work so hard to finally get the bastards in, and then you put the food in your mouth.
Yeah.
You pull it out, right? And then you see 3 prongs left. And then then you have this mini panic attack.
Did I swallow it? Yeah.
Is it still in my mouth with the food? Or is it in the food on my plate? And so naturally you start digging
Investigating,
through,
yeah.
you start digging through your food and you're looking for this little fucking prong and you're hoping that it's in the food, because if it's not in the food then it's in your mouth. So while you're digging through your food, you're also in your mouth with your damn tongue trying to find this thing, and you don't know where it is gonna be, but you just want to find it, right?
Yep.
Eventually you find it, whether you find it in there or you find it in your mouth, you remove it. But at this point, your food has been in your mouth for about a minute, and it's just like you've just been sloshing it around with your tongue.
Yes.
You've lost all flavor.
Nope.
That's all gone.
Just
And it's
nothing left, just
nothing
texture.
left but mush. And then you gotta swallow this mush, and you're just like, thanks. Thanks, fork, for this wonderful experience.
For making, the eating so much easier than it was without,
Exactly.
utensils.
It's just.
Is it only plastic forks you have issue with? What about plastic knives?
Not as bad. Not
Not as bad? I feel like plastic forks have helped me out more than plastic knives. Like a takeaway mee goreng in camp.
Yeah, fair
A plastic fork will do the job for some noodle situations. A plastic knife has never helped anyone in the history of time cut anything.
But
What the hell is that strong enough to cut? If you gave me another plastic knife to cut, with that original plastic knife, it wouldn't be strong enough to... That's gonna make it in the show, isn't it? 100% that made it into the show.
no, y'all saw nothing. I cut away from that.
Was it Kim's Convenience where there was a guy who kept eating with a plastic fork and then one by one each of the prongs would disappear?
Was that in the show?
Or was that Community? Either Community or Kim's Convenience. One of these two shows had a character. who
Kim's
did-
community.
Kim's Communions.
Kim's
They're Catholic, right? That's the whole... Yeah.
communions. I love it.
Actually, they might be Christian. There's something lah.
In Korean. You think Christian? Korean with a CH though.
Korean. Yes.
Alright.
Sorry, very badly timed sip of tea there. Gerald, edit that!
Dude, this is what we don't pay you for.
Exactly. Keep fucking around, Gerald. You're never gonna exist.
Your self-limitations
Yes!
right here.
Gerald, come
Stop
on.
fucking around.
Get it together.
Your
If you
existence hangs
ever
in-
want to manifest in physical form, edit these videos exactly how we ask you to.
God,
Alright, well
God,
that
God.
concludes the Purge. Thank you very much, Nerd. I don't know why I'm saying this to you like I'm hosting the show.
That's right. And also you were part of the Purge and you had one as well. All good. But you're welcome. You're welcome on behalf of both of us.
Thanks, man. Speaking for the audience, thank you. Thank you for your Purge.
Our third brothers.
Yes.
The third brothers.
We now move on
Yes.
to Art You Talking About.
Alright.
This is the segment of the show where, if you guys aren't familiar yet, I mean, come on, come on. Come
Hey.
on.
Hey.
Nirad and I take turns each week. One of us will choose a piece of art that we love, because we both love art. We love making it, consuming it, throwing it away, whatever needs doing, as time and life and consequence dictate. And we discuss it. Words! This week, we're discussing this book. It's Lust for Life by Irving Stone. This is one of my favorite novels I have ever read. It's not like an earth-changing, genre-defining novel by any means, but what it is a novelization of the life of Vincent van Gogh. Of Vincent van Gogh, depending on how you... I don't... Come on, bro. La da da da. Okay, anyway. So, the concept of this book, it's a novelization of Van Gogh's life. And the way that this was done, or the reason why, despite it being a novel, aka a work of fiction, it is still historically accurate, is that there's one person with whom Van Gogh kept in touch throughout his life.
Okay.
Despite the fact that he lived in many different cities across Europe, lived a largely isolated life. It's his brother. Van Gogh and his brother kept in touch throughout his life from the time he basically went on his own way. To the time that he finally passed, he had an ongoing letter exchange with his brother. I don't know the brother's name. It's been bugging me since I started writing about it. Like, I can't remember what his brother's name. I guess I could have flipped through the book, lah. but
Given that he's in touch
throughout,
throughout.
it's right there. It's right there. No, he doesn't often talk about his brother, but it's obvious that that's one of those things. And in the preface of the book, the author himself says that, a lot of the historical accuracy of this book comes down to my having studied all of these letters.
Okay.
So a lot of the events in Van Gogh's life are accurate, but of course it's a novel. It's a story about Van Gogh going from where he was to who he became. And so a lot of the blanks and moments are sort of filled in with creative license.
Right.
But it's, I would say, an incredible story of one genius and how he went about, discovering what he wanted to do, and then stopping at absolutely nothing and putting massive action behind that one goal. Unbelievable stuff. I think we all know who Van Gogh is, and if you haven't, here's a picture of Starry Night. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I think it's probably his most famous piece.
Yeah,
he's,
yeah. I
He's
think so.
also got a number of immense self-portraits throughout his life.
That was one of my favorite things about him. The way you see yourself, like the way you represent yourself, and the way you actually physically look are all things that change over time. So it's really cool that you can see that progress.
Absolutely, especially when you think about the kind of life he lived, which was incredibly lonely. Like about as lonely in life as you can envisage. Like, he started off as a priest.
Oh wow.
Okay, actually, as far as this book is concerned, his life starts with a heartbreak. Like, it's a good novel. Starts with a heartbreak in London. His brother, works at an art gallery. He's a dealer and all this kind of stuff. And at that point in his life,
Cocaine.
he
Not that deep.
no. Well, obviously a little bit. Come on, it's Europe. No. He starts off with no artistic intentions whatsoever. He goes out to become a priest. He moves to some part of France called the Borinage, I believe, and he lives in this like destitute coal mining sort of village area where nobody has anything. He subsists basically on coffee and like water for months. Because he's compelled to be the best sort of like man of God that can be.
Oh, right.
So you can see from the beginning really his dedication to one idea. He's very much a singular person, right? Like this is the thing that I'm going to do with my life.
Commit to it.
I commit to it beyond any reasonable level of physical discomfort.
Yeah.
That whatever is needed of me to do this thing.
Yeah.
But of course he realizes eventually throughout this process that it's not for him because the situation of the people around him doesn't improve. And I think from that point, I got the sense reading this is a really well told story that he doesn't really know how to connect to people.
Right.
His attempts at deep relationship connections with his family, with his father, with his mother, with the women in his life that he falls in love with, all fall flat on their face. Nobody seems to truly understand him, and he keeps searching for a way to do that. Kind of like Abed in Community. And from there, obviously I'm not going to spoil too much of the story. It's a wonderful story. He finds his way to painting. And painting in the Impressionist style, which is revolutionary with all this incredible color that's come out, bright and strong colors, and the dissolution of form in a way, not painting such classic. I don't know what the words are, but
not about hyperrealism,
not about hyperrealism.
Capturing as is, but capturing the feeling of what it represents, and
absolutely painting his experience of things, not just sort of like not like painting photography.
Trying to capture his reality of it.
Absolutely. So I've written a couple of notes on things that, like, I've always loved his paintings and stuff like this, but reading this really gave me an in-depth awareness of like what his actual life was like. And again, knowing that this is a novel that's compiled based off of the letters that he wrote to his brother, you can imagine how personal they could have been. So when the authors write,
I've seen some of them. Some of those letters, in museums,
When you read in this particular novel his inner monologues, his thoughts, you can tell that they're informed by some element of truth. You never really see the paintings in a novel. That's the amazing thing. It's words. It's just words describing one man's pursuit of expressing himself through form and color, and it's unbelievable, right?
Wow.
In my view, the spectacle of Van Gogh's art is the fact that the intensity of his desire to express his experience of beauty is very palpable. You can see it in his brushstrokes. You can see it in his use of color. You can see it in his compositions. Like this, for example. It's a happy little cafe scene, but it's intense. It is so intense. It's so bright. You can feel like this is the only place in the world that he wants to be. You can see that in the sky that there's this almost cosmic feeling of correctness. This is where I'm meant to be, kind of thing. And it's just a street.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
His self-portraits are the most heartbreaking things you will ever see because you can see him capturing his own descent into madness his own work, and it's just one of those amazing things. One of the things I wanted to ask you about: have you seen Whiplash?
I don't think so. I don't think I've seen that.
Fam, J.K. Simmons, Whiplash, the drumming guy, not quite my tempo.
No.
Dude, same year as Birdman, Whiplash came out, is probably better than Birdman.
Shit. Okay.
And Birdman's in my like top 10.
Yeah.
Whiplash is okay. Then you know what? Never mind. If you guys have seen Whiplash, you know exactly what I'm talking about. My question is this:
on your podcast, talk about Whiplash. I'll watch that.
Yes. Is success equivalent to happiness is one thing. Because Van Gogh painted about 800 pieces in his life and he only sold one. But he is, of course, now celebrated as one of the greatest artists of all time. What does Van Gogh's life tell us about greatness or about, beautiful art or about beauty? Is that sacrifice required?
I don't think sacrifice per se is required. I think the mentality of why he did it.
That single-mindedness.
Exactly. It's like doing good not for the praise, but doing good for the sake of doing good, right? Driven to produce this art, not to be an artist, not to make money, but because you believe that this art should be made.
Right.
Because you've got something to say, because you want to do it for the sake of doing it. And I think that's the dedication that drove him to continue again, 800 in an entire lifetime and only sell one, right? He died a nobody.
Yeah. This man pushed himself to the absolute limits as a social outcast in many cases. Everyone knows the story of him slicing off his ear. Do you know how that happened?
No.
So he had been lonely for so long and moved to this city somewhere in the south of France and come to realize that for him it's almost like he's like the method actor of painters, right? He had to physically feel something before he could paint it. Okay. So he would sit in the field in the hot sun for an entire day. He had a bald spot on the top of his head because his scalp literally just burnt red.
Shit.
His hair turned red, all this kind of stuff. That's just not good for you, for your physical well-being or your mind. That is what pushed him to experience his feelings as intensely as he did. Wow. And then he would allow himself to sort of, paint them out. And it's not as though he was just some mad guy with no degree of consistency in his life. He made big changes, but he stuck with each one until he exhausted its potential to show him what it is.
Wow. Okay.
Classical formalism and all this kind of stuff. He exhausted it to the point where he's okay, but that's not how I feel. I understand it, but it isn't how I feel. One of the saddest moments in his life, really, is him being in a mental asylum. His brother helped him check in and all this kind of stuff. And he just really wanted to paint, but they wouldn't let him paint because he kept having psychotic episodes because every time he painted, it was so intense that he would snap, and then they would find him by the side of a road somewhere near the institute.
Wow.
And so eventually they sort of let him paint as a sort of, little bits here and there, 30 minutes a day in a special room kind of thing. And he would describe that imperfect painting experience as the greatest sort of moment of his week. Just being able to pretend like he was capable of doing what he wanted to do. Not even do it.
Yeah.
That was the gravity of his love for this thing.
That's crazy.
He knew when he was in Paris and he was meeting the first Impressionist painters, your Toulouse-Lautrec and all these other people, that this was a movement that was occurring against the grain. It's no longer just brown and green and red paintings and sharp lines and that kind of stuff. It's mad splashes of color. Not Jackson Pollock, but you could see that he sensed it in these cafes he used to haunt and meet these people, and he spent a large part of his last, 10 years or so, trying to collaborate with other painters to set up a school of the Impressionist painting thing. But somewhere along the line, he just burnt his head off in a field, went completely stark raving mad, fell in love with a prostitute. Again, unrequited love, because that was the theme of his life.
Yep.
He went to her one day and sliced off his ear and gave it to her and said, "This is what it means for me to love you. This is the level at which I'm willing to sacrifice of myself for you."
Wow.
And of course, she screamed,
Yeah.
what the hell is this guy, right?
Yeah.
And he was bullied by the children of the town. They would climb up to his window and call him Furu, or like Crazy Red, because he was redhead and mad kind of thing. And it's a really heartbreaking life. And it's just an amazing thing to be able to see and experience the reason why he put himself through all this stuff. And to have that sense of, as crazy as it is, I'm glad you did, because you changed everything. You've changed the way that people approach expressing themselves, not just artists, the world.
Yeah.
And that's
Incredible impact. A lot of people want to have a significant impact in the world. They pursue whatever it takes to have that impact. This is a man who pursued what he believed in, had the impact on a scale most people will never achieve.
And not in his life.
And not even in his lifetime. Incredible.
He knew what he knew, lah.
Yeah.
He knew that what he was creating was novel, but altogether monumental. Like, altogether monumental. For that reason, I'd like to say, to the spirit of Vincent van Gogh, thank you, my guy. You're a legend. You're an absolute legend. I wish you could have had some of the appreciation for your genius, for your sacrifice in your life. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, first book that we've talked about in this show. Lust for Life by Irving Stone. See if you can pick it up physically. I think it's a great book to read in hand. It's one of those that you just can't stop reading if you're anything like me.
Or hands, if your hands are small. Then
Yes. Get creative. Have a friend come and hold one part of the book for you. 3 hands. All hands on deck.
Have a fourth hand, cut your ear off and give it to a prostitute.
Bang. Don't bang. If you do, pay.
Pay with a pound of flesh.
Hey! Shakespeare vibes. No, what is the thing that I'm trying to say? I believe it's available in audiobook form as well. So if you do listen to books rather than read them these days, as I'm sure a lot of us do, go and check it out there. And let me know what you think. Please comment below if you've read it. If you do read it, I'd love to know what you think, because it's one of my absolute favorites.
Very cool, very cool. All right. And
We now...
was...
You... That was Are You Talking About? And of course, oh shit, what? Ooh, ah! Oh, this literally the opposite of the guy. I'm
I
talking about
know.
Joe Biden.
I know, Obama. Joe Obama. Ah, Joe Obama.
Hey, your mama, okay, you don't take this serious, then serious gonna take you to Azkaban. Welcome to the halftime show with me, Uncle Foo, and my co-host.
I am Bobbu Din.
Y'all know us so far from episode 1, episode 2. The halftime show decided to glow up, okay?
Hey.
Since every host on this show refused to grow up, the show itself have to glow up, man. What do you think, Bobbu Din?
I think it's important. It's important that everybody glow.
Why? Now you annoy me as a host, as a human being.
Sorry, I am not a garden host.
But you still go on and on in
Ah.
circles. Bobbu Din, I gotta ask you that. It is the present, it's a halftime of the show. What are your comments on the game so far?
Well, honestly, I think in the first half, I don't know, something to do with paper, the books. I know brochure and I know coupon. Sometimes Deliveroo like to give the printer coupon. I like.
That's that's amazing. My question for you is, what do you think is going to happen with the US election? By the time this video come out, they probably know already who's going to win. As it stands,
They elect.
As you know,
Just
Uncle
one.
Fu is a bit of a rebel, so Uncle Fu had to leave, okay?
That's-
Brah, as you all know, no more of the one-child policy. You have 2 kids. Brah, have them anywhere you want, Wrap them in a banana leaf. Brah, sell to the Apollo. Brah, Greek God, good food. Brah. Recently, corporate food in the house. Uncle Fu going hella corporate, okay? Trying to get my visa in China. I mean,
Hey.
Uncle Fu have to tell you, recently there's been an uptick in the number of dumb motherfuckers out here. You notice this?
I noticed a lot. Got birds, mosquitoes, all the dumb motherfuckers out here.
What's your problem with the mosquito, huh? Pierce your epidermis.
So,
So-
what are you looking forward to in the second half?
Really want to see a little bit more passion from the boys, huh? Do a little bit more what you see in a training ground, huh? You always see Nikhil and Nirat always training. Suddenly you turn on the camera, it's a bullshit show, Uncle Wu not happy. This halftime show is sponsored by, Kanye West and Jay-Z. Easier to bear. You know what? This show is sponsored by my next initiative, okay? As a full-blooded full-time Uncle Fu, okay? No manfat lam temper in the wild, bro. But you know what they have in the wild? Fuba diving.
Bro.
Now the second half, Nira and Nikhil, really do your best, okay? Do it for the people. This has been a halftime show with me, Uncle Fu. This your cue, bro. This is the point where you go, and me, Bobbu Din.
Okay, let's try again.
Try again. This was the halftime show.
And me, Bobbu Din.
fuck. All right, my God, that was the halftime show.
I mean, this week it's
Yes.
my Footbollocks.
Yes.
And I want to talk about diving.
That is so good. Okay, diving.
Dive-
what is diving?
Okay, diving is essentially play acting. If you try and trick the ref into either giving you a foul you shouldn't have had, or exaggerating a foul to make it seem worse than it was.
Sure.
Getting tackled in football, either you didn't get tackled at all, but you dropped to the floor and pretended that you did, or a guy maybe clipped your ankle a little bit, it wasn't enough to fall, and you throw yourself to the ground like
Yeah.
a fucking clown.
Yeah.
Get the ref
Just
to-
con the ref.
Con the ref. Right?
One thing I want to add, just for the benefit of any audience members who are not football fans who want to know why this is a significant thing in football, if you get 2 significant enough fouls, each of which is worth a yellow card, or 1 very bad foul, which will, get you sent off with a red card, you actually lose a player in the team. So where you get fouled, if it's inside the penalty box, as it's known, you get a penalty, which usually leads to a goal. So fouls matter. Diving is a problem. All right.
It's a big problem. So I wanted to talk about the first time I witnessed diving.
Okay.
The 2002 World Cup.
2002. Brazil's World Cup.
Brazil.
Oh,
and
is it
Rivaldo?
Rivaldo,
It was
man.
that one. It was iconic. 30 seconds left in the entire game. It's a group stage game. It doesn't really matter. The ball was out of play. He's standing there about to take a corner, and opponent, he very much kicked the ball at Rivaldo.
Yeah.
He didn't pass it to him. He hammered the ball at him. It hit him in the knee. This in itself is a yellow card offense.
Sure.
You're just being a dick, right? And the guy was on a yellow card, so he would have been sent off anyway. So 100% this act would have gotten him sent off, which made it even weirder when Rivaldo gets hit in the knee
Yeah.
with the ball, immediately drops to the ground, holding his face and rolling around.
Writhing in
This is
pain,
one of-
agony.
One of the greatest strikers of his generation. He does this, and I just remember initially thinking, oh my god, the guy kicked the ball at his face. What an asshole! And feeling
Which
that
is how he
anger.
calmed the ref, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so the guy did get a yellow card, got sent off. Again, probably would have happened anyway.
Yeah.
Even if it didn't hit him in the face, never mind. But like he played it up so much just to trick the ref. What an experience that was. Because I hate diving, and
Have you
I
ever
was gonna
dived?
say I've never dived, but I'll come back to that.
Okay.
I'm gonna end Footbollocks with the one time I dived.
You've only dived once ever.
Once ever. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll
We'll come back to it. We'll
I'll
come back to it.
to
We'll come back to it.
I understand diving in very certain circumstances. If you are a player who is so genuinely shit at football, but still driven to win at all costs, if you're that kid,
Competitive without technique.
yes, if you're that guy, if you're
Yeah.
so shit, you will cheat, you'll do whatever it takes
If
to
the only
win.
way to enjoy the game is by winning.
Yeah. Then I understand, because then it doesn't, like, the rest of it doesn't matter.
Suarez, basically.
Yeah, at times,
Of
yeah.
his, I think that's his whole career. I think
Yeah.
that's what got him where he is in a way. But the good part of that attitude is what got him where he is, I
Yeah.
would say. But yeah,
Diego Costa is another perfect
Diego
example.
Costa is another good example of that. Yeah.
For the rest of us who enjoy playing the game and enjoy the competition of actually beating an opponent by besting
Being
them
better, yeah.
in the competition, it just ruins it. It ruins the reputation of the sport. There's that classic
Yeah.
saying: rugby is a hooligan sport played by gentlemen.
Yeah.
And football is a gentleman's sport played by hooligans.
yeah.
Because the respect for the referees and the rules in rugby, even though it's a much more physically aggressive game,
The respect is there.
it's there.
There is a mutual respect.
They're replays. Even before VAR was a thing, like, which is instant replays in the moment. That is the bright side of diving.
Yeah.
Anyone who dives, even if you believe it when they dive, you then see the replays. Even if the referee falls for it, they then go home
Which
and watch
means they don't
replays.
care about the reputation of it.
Exactly. So that's the thing. They suffer because they build a reputation for themselves. They're so it's such a meaningless thing.
Interesting.
It's such a short term.
Short-term thinking, yeah.
The repercussions are never worth it.
Right.
It's a shame when top class players do it. It's a shame when anyone does it because it ruins the image of the sport, but it also ruins the reputation of the individual. When shit players do it, it's like, when you suck, you need to do this. When top class players do it, it's just, you just look at them like, why?
Yeah.
Why? You're making your own job harder. Because what happens is everyone knows. Opponents get more pissed off. Your own team gets pissed off. Referees then build a bias against you. If you have a reputation for diving, and the perfect example is Ronaldo.
Yeah.
When he started it early in his career, he used to dive all the time. It would also piss off the referees because they look like idiots. Because they got the call wrong because they fell for
They've been
this
fooled,
bullshit.
lah. They've been fooled, yeah.
But it also pisses off your own team. If you keep diving, you don't always get the foul, first of all.
Right.
Because sometimes the dive is seen.
Right.
So you're constantly giving away possession.
And it is a foul to now dive.
Yes, but you're giving away possession. You're losing the ball. You're just ending attacks prematurely. Ronaldo then paid the price because referees then gave the benefit of the doubt to
To
the
the
defenders.
defenders, yeah.
I would say
Because
like
they started
since-
hitting Ronaldo hard.
Oh yeah,
They started
were-
hitting him hard.
They realized that when they were getting the benefit of the doubt, they can hammer him. They can actually foul him and get away with it because the referee, if it's 50-50 call,
Yeah.
he's going to side with the defenders now because now he does
Yeah,
his
he's got his
reputation's at stake.
Oh,
You know, and
right.
he knows that this guy is
The referee has to
odds
choose
are-
which. Yeah.
Odds
yeah.
are-
And if there's one player in United at that era that you wanted to really hit hard,
It was Ronaldo.
it was Ronaldo.
Ronaldo was labeled a diver. I think it took him about a year before he even stopped diving. But even then, it took years for
The reputation to.
the reputation
yeah,
to
rehabilitate.
disappear. Yeah.
By the time he left United, he was still.
He still had the reputation. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. Maybe around 06, 07 was when he was really being hammered for his diving. Fairly so. He left in 09. So yeah, he very much still had the
I hear you,
reputation.
I
Like
hear
it
you.
was the tail end of it, but he still had the reputation going into Real Madrid.
You know who is secretly a prolific diver?
Who?
Sadio Mane.
Really?
Nobody talks about it because he's now scored more goals than Ronaldo did in the same number of games in the same position. But I'm telling you this: Sadio Mane dives.
Wait. Okay. Let me ask you this: innocent victims.
Innocent victims.
Innocent victims of this act of diving. Players who are extremely quick, who like to take on defenders, and who genuinely do get fouled a lot.
Yeah.
But because when you're running at speed, it actually takes very little to knock you off balance. A little knock, just a tap of the ankle, you're gonna fall. It takes much less, and that's just physics. It's not
Yeah.
even diving at that point, right?
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
there are players who are skillful that run past players a lot and get these little knocks, and they actually then get unfairly labeled as divers
Right.
because they go down a lot and they're tackled and fouled a lot. But then these are people who, if diving didn't exist, these would just be
Diving is a
fouls.
thing that you only really see from very speedy players. That's an interesting thing. Diving itself has an impact on players who aren't divers.
Exactly. So
Same.
I wanted to ask you, For Mane, do you think that's the case? Do you think it's just a case of just his speed working against him, or does he actually go to
No, he
ground?
dives.
Oh, he just really
He
just
just
dives.
dives. Okay, when I say he's like once every 10 games or something, he'll do it. But
Okay,
he's played
yeah,
100 games less. I've seen it a lot.
Okay,
And I'm not talking dives where it's like obviously conning the ref, blah, blah, blah. It's the kind of dive that's still not okay.
Yeah.
By any purist standards of whether this should or should not be part of the game.
Yeah.
But if there is a kind of diving that's acceptable, it's this kind. It's where there's some minimal contact in the box, and he
Yeah.
only ever dives really
Yeah,
in the box
yeah.
or slightly outside, where you know if you just go for the shot and miss, you know, it's not going to be your best shot because you're now off balance. And if you take the shot and it's saved, you're not getting the penalty for what probably is a foul.
Yeah. Personally, I don't consider that diving.
Okay.
Because if you go down, it is a foul. There was contact.
Sure, yeah.
Because at that point, if you get the contact and you are not going to go down, and then you choose to go down,
That's a dive.
That's a dive.
Right.
If you get the contact and you stumble and you are going down, but you try to stay up, that's
Okay, okay,
commendable.
okay.
But if you get, you know,
That-
if you get
that
the
I
contact
agree
and
is
you
not a
are-
dive.
if you get the contact and you feel like you're going down and you allow yourself to go down,
Yeah.
that's not a dive.
That's not a dive.
You know,
I agree.
because-
I
yeah,
agree.
yeah.
But no, but Mane does a lot of the first one as well.
Okay, right.
When I say minimal contact, I mean like, you know, when you're not even not that
not
bad.
that bad,
He never does like Neymar things.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
like literally no defender around fell down. What do you why? You know, no, but like, dude, a man of this physical, so he's built like as J Paul would say, a tuck shop, right? Like for his size, dude is a beast, right? And he's a bullet, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But he's super strong even at pace against the best defenders in the world. Slight touches, which you know he's not going down for, he falls, he flops. And you see that and you're like, Sadio! But you know, as a Liverpool fan, when it is 1-1 and it's a title race and you're looking to
Yeah,
win the first
yeah.
league, I can understand why he would stop at nothing to win.
Yeah.
But I wish it wasn't something that human beings were...
I wish it wasn't even in their minds.
Yeah.
Like, if it was never part of the game.
Because it's cheating.
It is cheating.
It's just
So-
cheating. Commentators, as in
They
game,
will call it.
They know because they are historians. Listen to how they talk about Mane.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Occasionally be like, and Mane's gone down fairly easily there, Jim.
Yeah.
And we're like, yep. It's
contact.
going to be controversial. If you're a Liverpool
Yeah.
fan watching this, you may not agree with me. I think a lot more people are aware of Salah diving than Mane. But Salah gets called out for it, to be
Yeah.
honest. And he's really pretty much stopped, if you ask me. I don't see him really like going to ground.
Which is a good thing
Too easily.
about top players is that they realize eventually.
Yep.
You're losing more than you're gaining.
Maybe
from this.
Mane is just fucking good at it, dude.
Maybe
He's
it's
just
just like.
fucking good at it.
Oh, actually, I wanted to talk about just a few players that I think have been unfairly labeled as divers over
Go on.
the years. Zaha,
Wilfried Zaha. He's
Uh,
been labeled a diver?
Yes, yes.
Oh,
yes. Hazard. Di Maria.
Di Maria
and-
dived. Come on.
Di Maria does, but occasionally, yeah. lah. I mean,
He did everywhere. Everywhere.
but okay. So
It's not seasonal. Is it a bit harsh to call him a diver?
I think
it's not like a move in his arsenal.
yeah. Okay.
But-
After this discussion, I would say I'll put Di Maria with Mane.
Yeah,
In that
they're
category.
at least the same.
They're-
They're
yeah.
at least the same.
They're
They're
very
not
much-
above it. This is gonna sound them one guy, but he always looks like he just booked out of some camp. Isn't it the look? He always just looks like a bit of a wristband situation going on. Sup, bro? The sergeant, Angel.
He does look a bit like a mud. lah.
He's
Like,
got a mad. Firmino is the number one.
the Firmino.
Neymar's number two, but like Di Maria, dude. Yeah.
You know, Rooney in his early days was actually labeled a diver.
I heard this, yeah. When he was like
When he
that,
had-
that speedy guy.
Yeah, more speed and somehow less hair. He aged, he got fatter, he lost his speed,
He
but somehow he
traded
got
his
more hair.
speed. He traded his speed for his looks.
You know,
It's like his physical, like.
Okay, I'm gonna end with the story of the one time I dived.
Okay. Yes.
And this was playing for VS
okay.
against Tanjung Katong Secondary School. East Zone.
It's the piak guy.
No.
Okay.
Brandon. What a guy.
You're watching this dude like you are the baldest dude I've ever seen in my life. Dude.
That guy would sweat, he was bald every time he jumped for a header and headed the ball, it was a sound, it was amazing. VS against Tanjung Katong Secondary.
Yes.
This was Sec 4. I was playing as right back. I was a right back in VS.
Yeah. Okay.
And the left winger was this motherfucker who was very fucking talented. He didn't dive. But what he did was, he would give me a dead leg just when his
When he's
centre
running
mid
onto the ball.
was about to play the pass and we were about to sprint. Because he early on saw that we were both very quick and I
Yeah.
outpaced him. So
Yeah.
he couldn't beat me for speed. But he beat me in the football game, lah, the dirty bastard. But I, you know, it's one of those things, like, for all I've said, right? I fucking, when someone pulls off shit like this,
Yeah.
I elbow you in the ribs at a corner, I
Right.
step on your toes when the ref isn't looking. The little shit to, like, get in the mind of a defender, I love that shit because
Right.
that's like,
It's
get
the
in there.
psychology of football.
It is. This guy, He had it down to a fucking art. Like, I guarantee I'm not his first victim, I'm not his last. Because with dead leg precision, this guy, every time he's about to get the ball, I'm there, lining up, ready
into the
to
thing.
turn and go. And he will be behind me. He'll give me a dead leg just as the ball is passed to him. So when I'm about to turn and chase him,
There's no leg there to run on.
my leg is gone.
Gone.
And if you've never had a dead leg before, my God. All it takes is, honestly, it takes a knock just like, it doesn't take anything.
Yeah.
Because you're hitting
gotta
literally
hit
right
that
on the nerve.
Yeah.
And your entire leg goes numb and it hurts. My God, he would do it and you don't fall from it. Because
So it's not a foul.
it
It
is
look like a foul.
It doesn't look like a foul.
Right.
Brilliant. It's such a work of art. It was
Precision.
incredible. He would hit it and run, and he would do it in one motion.
Oh, shit.
So it looks like he's turning to run.
Wow,
And I would
that's-
just I would turn and I would just stop. And to me, this is the most blatant thing in the world because my entire left leg is taken out of the equation. So I'm
Right.
like, ref, how are you not seeing this?
Right.
And the ref would never see it because what is there to see?
Right.
It's so good. He's standing behind me, so it's
Yeah,
in
angles
between-
and everything.
Everything. It was so
The subtlety of it
It
on
was
top of
so
it,
good,
yeah.
and I was fucking frustrated. So the first time it happened, I was just screaming. Nothing happened. Okay, I thought
Punch
this guy,
yourself.
what a guy. Second time it happened, I was livid. Like I ran up to the ref. I was screaming in his face. It's like I don't fall, but like it is a foul, right? He's like, yeah, but I cannot see. You know how am I supposed to give a foul? Like, nothing. And I was like, okay.
Give the ref a dead leg. You see that?
You see? You feel right. You feel right. Give the card. The next time he did it,
Yeah.
and by this point I was like with this guy, I was just like, you fucking. The next attack that happened, the ball as it was about to be passed, he didn't give me a dead leg because I just dropped to the floor.
Oh, wow.
Holding my thigh. I was just like, fuck, ref! And the ref immediately gave the free kick and gave him a yellow card.
Oh, that's amazing.
And I was like, so you got away with two, I got you back, love.
Wow.
So I fully 100%.
So he couldn't do it for the rest of the game. as
1000%
well.
dive, he could never do it. He didn't do it for the rest of the
Nice.
game. So, but he got me twice.
Right.
Hammered my fucking leg was like dying. Huh?
Did he score from either of those two?
No, but significant attacks because
Sure,
then you know
sure.
you're free on the wing.
Yeah,
for
yeah,
your
you can-
strikers,
yeah.
Again, I have so much goddamn respect for this, and I've told this story a million times to all my teammates. Everyone knows this story. So that was in 2010. Bayshore started in like 13, 14 or something. Like played for Bayshore for like a year or 2 years or something, and then this new guy was joining our team.
It's the dead leg guy.
Him.
You've met him again.
Not just that. Not only
He still
did I-
does it.
Not only did I meet him again, we're now gonna be teammates, and I was like, okay, this is gonna be weird, but that's fucking cool because I'm genuinely in awe of how good he was at what he did. That I have no anger.
Right.
I got him back
I get
with
it.
the dive. It's such a good move. I was so blown away by how good this move was. I've always loved it. So when this guy was coming, I was just like, how do you all know him? Some of the VJ guys were like, he was our teammate in VJ. I
What's
knew
his
this
name?
Shija.
This was Sheeta? Wow.
So everyone fucking knows Shija. And Shija is one of the best, like I think
Solid guy.
Not even on top of being a phenomenal guy.
Solid
like, just
guy.
a hell of
By
a
all
like,
accounts,
what
a solid guy.
Such an asshole. I love it. This guy's so fun. But like on the pitch, I describe him as if you're a striker, you switch off your brain and you score a goal. Because he is that fucking good. His passing range, unbelievable midfielder. If you're playing as a striker and you've got him behind you, he will get you the ball somehow.
Right.
He gets you
Just-
the ball
he gets you the
in
ball.
ways that you are ready to score.
Sheeta,
But I don't think
do you still do the dead leg move, dude?
let us know. If you're watching, let us know. But what a guy.
If you've played with Shijudin, let us know. Put it in the comments.
Yeah.
Like
That's the story of the one time that I broke my rule to dive.
you're
and
like
it is
you're
my-
like a bad Batman.
Oh my god,
You
to
had
me it was
one
vigilante justice. I was like, you won't get me if I
To be
get
fair,
you
like
first.
what an amazing way to dive. A dive to correct. Yeah,
Right?
Yeah,
The
you know,
wrongs
I
between-
honestly,
yeah.
I fuck with it.
That's
I fuck
why
with it.
it's like I'm so against
I
it.
wish I could see that sort of dive in like a Premier League game. I've
I've
seen the exact opposite of that though, which is Luis Suarez biting Branislav Ivanovic and then holding his teeth in agony
Yes,
on the floor.
yes,
This is the exact opposite of what you did.
He literally tried to make it seem like the guy.
Yeah. Like, oh, my teeth hurt. What the fuck? I remember watching the game and just being like, he didn't just do that. And I was like, what? What? A couple of people didn't quite see the. It's like, what did he do? It's like, yeah, he bit the fight. No way. He was like, he bit Ivanovic. Like you can look at Ivanovic.
Yeah.
He's built like a brick shit house. This fella is like, no complaints. Just look at the teeth marks in my
Yeah.
shoulder. And the ref is like, okay, wait a minute. What the hell has happened here? Anyway, that
But yes.
is Footbollocks.
And now to wrap things up, we have
What do we have, Nirad?
comment time.
This is the part of the show where, of course, we read and respond to the comments that you leave us.
And yeah, I've got some comments from last week's episode. I speak of the podcast as if it's a weekly thing. It is far from it. But Last week.
Last week.
So, our father left a comment.
Ah.
Dinesh of the Insenan variety. We were talking about The Dark Knight. I have to mention
gonna
it.
be
The
so
sequel to The Dark Knight is Dark Knight Rises.
Yes.
His first comment was Ketupat Rising. That's it. Ketupat Rising. He then, not even worth a response, don't do it. He then left a real comment, which is genuinely fascinating.
This is the fucking stock from which we come. You know what I mean? Ketupat Rising.
Ketupat Rising.
Sounds like a fucking Malay gang.
Bobby Firmino. Okay, so the real comment he left was, by the way,
Sorry, so he left 2 comments.
he left 2 comments.
Okay,
I'm glad he split them up. So
Good,
like
good.
Ketupat Rising.
So we can Ketupat Rising. Dude.
So he said, with regards to the all-round masterpiece, The Dark Knight, not to be confused with Ketupat,
Oh, yes, cool.
are you aware that the scripting wasn't done by Christopher, but by his younger brother, Jonathan? It
Yes.
was actually, yes, I had no idea. And
I, in fact, was aware of this, and it was the reason why I didn't.
you didn't tell me?
Yeah, I didn't tell you 12 years ago when you watched The Dark Knight for the first time because I.
Ketupat bastard.
Can you please
I have to do it now.
Yeah. John writes the scripts and Chris comes up with the concept, I
Yes,
think, and John executes the writing.
Yeah, like John describes it as Christopher takes these stories that I have and reimagines them in ways that I could not have done.
So yeah, thanks for your comment, Father. That's both of your
I
phenomenal.
thought both fathers.
both fathers. The one who wrote the first comment and the completely different individual who wrote the second one.
Okay, so the next comment is from Mr. Chong Li Tao.
Li Tao, my guy.
So he said,
What's up, guy?
Nerad looked dead inside during Footbollocks, especially during the talk about Liverpool. Something that Uncle Brian
Also said.
also said.
Yes.
And yeah. We're talking about what it takes to win the Premier League, and we're talking about this in the context of Liverpool winning the league after.
Yeah.
So fuck lah,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I'll get involved in I
Do you have a deeper respect for Liverpool fans enthusiastically discussing football for 30 years?
Yeah,
With
yeah.
United
Oh.
fans?
Yes, in the shit right now. I get why.
You had to balance the real feeling you have of spite
Yes.
towards Liverpool
Yes.
with your very real need to be a host on this show.
Absolutely. But also the
I think
topic.
it's very professional of you. You omitted to swear, which is probably what you wanted.
Yeah.
Go on.
It was more in the editing process, not bleeping out every time you said Liverpool.
That's very rude. That's very rude. Just
like-
a name. That doesn't come across because he's a very objective guy, but he is in fact a Liverpool fan.
Okay.
We were friends in Leeds. He recently
Leeds style.
Leeds style.
Now I remember you.
Leeds style. Done.
Okay. done. Moving on to the next one. This was from Ming Tielo.
Oh wow. Classmate from secondary school, yeah.
He asked, so I follow this podcast religiously. Shout out, that's amazing.
My guy.
Brackets, all 2 episodes of it. It hasn't
But they're
taken
long. They're
but they
long.
are
So
long.
you have spent hours on this content.
It is a commitment.
Thanks, man.
He says, deep, thoughtful, hilarious stuff. Thank you.
Thanks, man.
What are your thoughts on the whole Messi situation this summer, and how would you feel if Messi joined a Premier League side, say City?
So this must have been left
This
before
was-
it was confirmed that
Last,
Messi.
last week.
Last week. Yeah,
But
you know.
a while ago, it's since been sorted that he is going to stay at Barcelona.
Yeah.
But
Although he did not go in for some coronavirus testing, he did not go back for their first training.
he fully announced that he wanted to leave.
Yeah, all
he got a legal team in to dispute 700 million euro buyout clause in his contract. When it boils down to it, he wasn't happy with how the club is being run. There's a power play at Barcelona. It's not a good system.
I can see the dip in morale in the fans just in the last 3 or 4 Champions League seasons where they've just underperformed because we made that happen. And I
We
see,
being the Insenan podcast.
yes,
not
our
Liverpool.
influence in this 2 weeks has been so significant. It's gone back in time and made
Tenet!
Tenet!
If you saw 2 Indian guys walking through the Champions League final backwards, that was us changing the game.
They should make a second movie called 10 ET with just 11 backwards aliens. But we'll move on. Flying through the air backwards. Oh, dude, with the bicycle. Oh, excellent. Yes.
But yeah, I mean, so I think.
And then gets caught in a net backwards.
Who is Annette? How did you catch him? I think it was insulting that Barcelona weren't at least trying to find a compromise with him to help him leave. Think about what he is to the club, lah.
Yeah, no.
Like, show him the same respect. Like,
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
show him
Which
the
is-
respect to
yeah.
let him go if he wants to go. Why are you gonna
Look, if he
sour
ever
this-
was
this-
finally going to try and cement himself as being better than Ronaldo, then he would have to do it on a cold, windy night in Stoke,
That's
basically.
the exact
Right?
point. I don't think it's even a competition.
Yeah, I think.
I don't think it is.
I know.
right?
I know your view on this. I know your view on this.
He's like Ronaldo has proven himself across multiple top class.
Let's save
leagues.
this conversation for a future
Yes.
Footbollocks.
Yeah.
But thanks, Mingte, for your comment.
Yes.
What do you think? Like, tell us what you know how you felt about Messi. Where would you have liked to have seen him play, even if it wasn't in the Premier League? Because I think that would have been. Yeah. Everyone assumed he was going to City, but
I think it's just a case of they were the only ones who would be willing to. Or
oh,
able
pay that
to
money.
pay. Yeah.
Absolutely. But in a
Yeah.
perfect world, right? Like.
Yeah. Then we got a comment from Mr. Ryan Dore.
Oh my God.
Yes, Ashwin to us brown folk.
Ashwin the simple now.
Papa
It's our cousin Ashwin / Ryan.
/ Papa.
He never slashed his papa, okay?
He said, "Love the podcast. Can't wait for episode 5." This
Nice.
was on episode 2. Looking ahead. Yep. We
Maybe he was looking at it through a mirror. Tenet!
Sorry, I don't know where you're going.
It's literally
I thought you were gonna
two
say-
backwards is fine. That's what I meant. Through a mirror.
yeah.
Amazing. Yes,
was
please
impressive.
carry on.
Can't wait for episode 5. I have a good feeling about it. Can you please purge humidity?
Oh, that's a shout.
that's-
You live in Australia though.
They have crazy hot summers, but they
Yeah.
don't have humidity like this. So every time
You have a crazy hot summer. We have crazy rich Asians, dude. Badam! Dude! Honestly, I don't mind the heat here. It's a livable temperature and every night is reasonably cool, but it is like 90+% humidity here. That's a fantastic purge. I never thought of that, but yes. Let's bring about massive environmental change at the expense of future generations just so we can be more comfortable. Because if
course.
we don't start acting like boomers now, when will we?
boom. And this brings us to our final comment. This is from Mr. Jeevan Tulsiani.
Jivu Trivu.
Jivu Trivu.
Oh man.
Jivu says, Uncle Fu and Bobudin, you guys are absolute legends for the shout out and getting the African King in.
Yes.
Big fan of the show and I hope it goes to new heights. Thank you for making my day.
Oh, such a
well.
sweet, warm comment. Thank you very much, Jeevan.
But the thing is,
Oh, there's more.
the African King did come in and ask Jivu what was his problem.
Exactly.
But because it wasn't a FaceTime, and
Yeah.
he didn't want to time with the face.
No, I agree.
As the African King.
I agree.
Jivu has asked us to please call him so he can address this and discuss it with the African King himself.
Okay.
I'm gonna give
Do you know where he
Jivu
is?
a call.
I'll see if I can
Find
find
the
him.
bastard
I'll see
wherever
where
he
he's
is.
at. I'm sure he's somewhere around.
I hear that I have been summoned today
By you peasants.
By Jivu. Your friend.
I am wearing like this because he is too shady for me. I'm telling you this. What is his real name? Is he Jivu or Jivan?
You have some questions.
I have some
tell you what,
questions.
I'm-
Also, who are you? Oh,
is
so
my
now
house.
you're telling me that I have a short memory.
I
I spent
Am-
16 years thinking how to say this. You must be on my level to
I-
understand what I've said.
don't want to be on your level. I'm gonna call Jivu right now.
See this guy with the phones and the calls and the hats, and at the end of the day, they don't know what they're doing in life.
There we go. It's ringing. It's ringing.
Hear the phone ring.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, Jivu, my man. Okay. How are you?
Good, bro. Good. How are you?
We're good. I'm good. So
Okay, enough of this now. Can we cut to the chase,
Okay.
please?
Okay. Nikhil.
1 second. I need to clarify one thing.
Yeah.
Please.
Is this the legit Nigerian king or the one who is behind all those email scams?
First of all, that is my son, yeah? Those are Nigerian princes that you hear from. I am the king. Second of all, and my son has been getting a bad name. There's a lot of people impersonating him, but he really is trapped somewhere and needs your help. I cannot reach him directly, and he's reaching out to the rest of the world, and they are just not giving him the time of day, as though they are so busy. What are they doing on this podcast? We'll get back to it another time.
What is your major grievance, Jivan?
I've been receiving some complaints from the community, Your Excellency.
Which community would this be?
My Singaporean community.
I see.
They have been complaining about this Asia Malaysian man who is apparently walking around and doing some Insta stories. His name is Uncle Foo. I feel it is very offensive.
Could you tell me a little bit about this? What did you call him? Foom?
Uncle Foo.
Uncle Foo. Who is this Uncle Foo guy that you speak of?
To be honest, I find him quite funny. He talks like a taxi driver driving around Singapore, you know.
I see. Well, listen. If I ever see this man, I will tell him what you have said and I will take some severe action against him. On your behalf now. Because, from the way you commented previously, I thought maybe you were missing an arm and needed some help and it was a severe situation that required the attention of a no less than a king. But in fact, you were just telling me about some guy on your gram. Chain of command is not dead in this country.
Are you going to tell your son to send me an email now?
Look, any emails that he has been sending to the world in pursuit of his own freedom and safety, he has done of his own accord. I have never asked him to do any of this stuff. Of course, like I said, he's developed for himself a very bad reputation, as you may have pointed out, Jivan, but, the better among us offer help, not criticism, okay? If you don't like his email, add it to spam, okay? I cannot be the first person to tell you how to use an email, okay? He may be my... Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing? You said you had serious problem, I'm trying to help you, and you laugh at my solution. As though I'm a happy fucking cocktail. You know what? I just want to say you're a brave man. Most men in your position are no longer in any position whatsoever. You have done very well to air your grievances, Mr. Grievances, and I hope to hear from you again. In the interim period, I will actually do what I can to look into this Uncle Foo situation and see if I can put a stop to it.
That's perfect. I've heard a lot of good things about you. Thank you, Your Excellency. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Jivu. Thanks for being part of this Insenan podcast.
If you have any more issues,
No
Jivu.
worries, man. I just want to say that both of you keep it up. This is an excellent podcast. The fact that you guys are being yourselves, putting yourselves out there, making people laugh in such a difficult time, I take my hat off to you guys.
Nobody asked you for your opinion of things about which you have no expertise, Jivan. I was here to listen to your problems and not to hear your compliments, my friend. You are not the chef. I do not...
Okay,
Well. Okay, thank you, Jivu.
Thank you so much, Jivan.
Take care, buddy.
See you
Bye.
soon, man.
Bye-bye.
On that note, I would like to say that wherever Nikhil is, I'm sure that he would like to have been here for the end of this show, but he has not made it.
He's not coming back?
He's not coming back.
Okay, thank you guys for sticking with us for episode 3. Sitting through that, him,
Or sitting
sitting through
you
this.
are also too shady.
Thanks for watching. Please do subscribe. That'll be the easiest way to keep track of when we've got new episodes every week. It's not weekly, but it's weekly.
It is weekly. I have made the weeks 15 days long now.
They are. Subscribe here, right in the middle. It's somewhere here, something. There's a button. Click on the thing. Just click on the logo. It's subscribe. It's a nice logo. Do the thing. Click on the thing. Check out all the things. We've got video here. We've got a video on that side.
If you like this episode, please let us know what you liked about it. If you don't like it, please let us know why you are wrong. And of course, as always, have a wonderful day.
Thanks for watching.
Bye-bye. All right. It's
Solid.
done. It's done.
Bro, no man fat lamb temper in a while, bro.